Thank you for joining me in a meditation that includes movement. If you'd like to know more about this practice, please visit continuumteachers.com for a resource website, or my own website at creativehealingmovement.com. And you can email me at kathryn, Kathryn, at creativehealingmovement.com. So our practice today stimulates the entire spine and helps to create a juicy wave movement throughout the head to toe entire spine. We will start with a little pressure on our hips using the fists, the knuckles, the hands, the palms, whatever area is most comfortable for you to create a little pressure. You can hold on to the hips, press with the knuckles, and then the lower back. After that, we will create a sound vibration to send into our neck and create a sway with our shoulders and upper back, and then go into larger stretching. So I'm going to walk you through this practice a couple of times, and then that'll be it for this video, but not the end of your practice. Your practice can take what we did and spend an hour or more, or 15 minutes, whatever time you have, in this dive or practice. And you can even try just little parts of it throughout your day or right before you go to bed to help you relax, to help stimulate healing. This practice stimulates blood flow, oxygen distribution, and energy flow. Now, if you're just laying in a bed, it may be very subtle. And if you want more activity, you may be standing up, like the way I'm going to demonstrate later. So this practice can be done laying down, sitting in a chair, or standing. Please modify it so it helps your body. Starting with the hip pressure, I'm going to take my hands and press them on the side bones and kind of give my hips a hug. Now, if you want to pull in your belly and sit up tall, you can, but focus on the pressure, whatever is needed, and take a nice long inhale and exhale. And I took that breath while I was holding the pressure. Now, as I release, I can shake out my hands, or if my back wants to, I can even create some nice little wiggles to help my back. I'm going to add another pressure, some fists, and I'm going to pull them into my front jeans pocket area. So right into this little bone here. And as I pull my fists back, I can also pull my shoulders back to help me with that movement. And I can even let my hips move slightly forward, so there's pressure in two directions, just as if I was getting a massage or a foam roller. So I create this little bit of pressure. I take a nice long inhale and a nice long exhale, and then I release. Again, if anything wants to wiggle or shift or sway or stretch at this time, this is a great moment for movement and breath. And you're just noticing each movement, each moment, how you feel. The next pressure, I'm going to use fists into the lower back. That little triangle in your lower back, the bones, I'm going to press my fists in and I'm going to lean my back into the fists to create some pressure and hold. While I do this, it's nice if I go ahead and I sit up nice and tall with my shoulders pulled back, and I take a nice long inhale and an exhale. And then I release, and I just notice how everything feels. If you need to wiggle your shoulders or your back, that's great. This is a great time for all those little belly dance or hula movements or wiggling the kinks out of your back. Now, I'm very close to the computer right now to introduce this, and later I'll move back to the chair so you can see my full body movement. So the pressure on the hips is the first part. The second part is the sound. The sound we're going to use today is the sound of J and Z, J and Z. In yoga practice, this is often very similar to bees' breath, the breath that sounds like bumblebees. We don't want it too stressful or repetitive. We want it relaxed, nice and long and slow. Anytime you need to stop and just regular breathe, that's great. This is what it may sound like to you. And you can just let the air come back in naturally. For some people, that's going to be a longer sound or a shorter sound, a louder sound or a softer sound. That's okay. Just allow for it to come out as it does. And try to not stress about your sound or your breathing. You want this to be a relaxing practice. So you can always send a sound into your neck if you're resting and you don't want to put your hands up here or you're not flexible enough. You may want your hands on the back of your neck and then your shoulders or your chest. Or just think with your mind about these areas of all the spine, the vertebra going down your upper back. If you want to practice it with me, start with just some nice deep breathing so you have the air to exhale. And on your gentle long exhale, you'll make this sound as you may touch or focus on your neck bones. Of course, now if your body naturally wants to respond in any kind of sway, wiggle, adjustment, stretch, breath, that's wonderful. Just follow whatever movement or breath that your body starts creating. That's for the neck, and this is for the upper body region of the shoulders. I'm going to focus on one shoulder. For me, this is my right hand. Now, it doesn't matter if it's right or left for you because we're going to do both. So I'm going to hold on the elbow and the shoulder. What this does is it allows me to create lots of little sways, lifts, lowers, bending, even leaning, and across. Just up to your comfortable flexibility, what you might do in that movement. It's okay if it's really subtle. As I do this, I'm going to do a JZ sound, breathe, do another JZ sound, rest and move. Okay? Try it with me. Now, I didn't know I was going to lean forward. I'm just letting myself lean forward or lift my elbow as my body just happens to be doing that. I can take a breath and another Jay-Z sound. So you may notice that I'm moving very slowly. The slow motion allows me to feel each tiny little movement in my muscles, tissue, bones, vertebra, breath, in all the different parts of your body, the fascia. So right now I'm even feeling my lower back. At some point you may feel too confined, so then release and let yourself let go and open and continue into bigger stretching. So the bigger stretching is our third part of this dive, this practice today. It may start in the upper body, but we're going to send the wave all the way down, head to toe, through the lower body. So at some point, you may have your hands on your chair or a table and come towards a forward position so you can get some nice wiggles out of your spine, your head, your back, your tail, and even one of your legs, focusing on maybe lifting a leg and wiggling that hip or leaving the toe on the ground. I'm going to back up and demonstrate this again, but I'm just giving you the general outline of the practice right now. When we're in this position, forward, it allows us to be in a different orientation to gravity, and it helps our spine. So this orientation is more like a dolphin or a dog or an elephant, and our spine likes to enjoy some movement in that way. From there, you might sit back down and repeat the whole practice. So I'm going to repeat that whole practice, pressure on the hips, Jay-Z in the neck, and then holding an elbow. This time I'm going to switch to the other elbow. And if I stretched out one leg, let's say I stretched out this leg, the next time I practice, I can stretch out the other leg, right? If that gets too confusing, you can always do elbow, elbow, leg, leg. So this should be fun and restful and stimulate a lot of positive feelings and sensations and energies in your body. If other things arise, just notice them, pains, discomforts, memories, feelings, and just let them continue and release and let go and continue. What else, what else, what else? What else is here until you can find that rest and that positive energy again. So repeat the practice with me. I'm going to back up. You may not be able to hear my sounds as easily, but you'll be able to see my full body. Okay? Starting with the pressure on the hips. If you want to try this standing or laying down, you can. I'm going to press on the sides first. So that's a little hug. And as I do so, if it feels good to really step into the feet, hug the sides, maybe lengthen your spine, take a nice big breath. And a little bit of deep pressure. And release. Now, if that's intense on your hands, give them a shake or an open close. Of course, you can always give your legs a shake or a wiggle. And we'll try 2 more pressures. This one comes forward. If I turn to the side, you can see that I'm kind of leaning into that pressure. If I bring my elbows back, it also helps me pull in this direction using my back muscles so my wrists don't hurt. Inhale, exhale. And release. So this is a way to stimulate the lower body. Some people with lower back problems really enjoy this pressure because it stimulates energy and it can relieve stress and tension. My third pressure is going to be fists into this little triangle of the lower back, my tail. And I bring my elbows back and I give it some nice pressure and I take a nice long breath. And I release. And again, if you want to do any wiggles or shakes, this is great. The next thing I'm going to do is that elbow shoulder. Last time I had this one, so this time I'm going to switch. I'm going to do that JZ sound, and I'm going to allow for movement and stretching, maybe sitting or standing. And the sound again, JZ, sounds like this. Relaxing and breathing, pausing between, and noticing how you feel. With this entire practice, it's great if you give yourself time to even close your eyes, feel body sensations, notice breathing patterns, maybe even noticing thoughts, emotions, just how you are. So noticing that before you start your practice, after you start your practice, and comparing the two, even during the middle of the practice, will help you know if this practice is good for you. So the JZ's on the neck. And you may notice right away it stimulates some stretch or movement that you want to play with. Going into the other elbow that I haven't done yet with the JZ sound. And I'm allowing for this sway to come through my body, maybe from my feet, or if you're sitting, from your hips, or from your neck. So that was my second sound. I want to take time to breathe and stretch, anything the body wants to do. And I can keep this position for a little longer while I'm playing with the stretch, the dance, the movement. And when it feels tight and confining, I just release and allow for more, exploring more. Oh, that feels amazing. And at some point, you can take that big arm movement into the seat of your chair or the back of your chair. If you're sitting, you can just start holding this and lengthening a leg. If you're standing, you can put your hands on the seat or the back of the chair and start to lengthen a leg. Now that big arm stretch can go right into spinal movement. Feeling the breathing. You can always have one toe on the ground, but notice how I'm focused on one leg. So one leg is my support, nice and bent, and the other leg has no weight or not much on it, and it allows for this long movement from head to toe through the spine. If you need to create a little movement, you can. You can always add that pressure or go back to the sound. And while you're here, if you'd like to, you can switch to the other leg extending if you have not been able to play with that one very much. All the way down into toe movement. And if you're noticing my body and you think that's way too much, just know that you can do this laying in a bed or seated in a chair. Just holding onto the chair and extending one leg. The idea that we're focused on is movement through the spine. At some point in your practice, you may just need the chair to rest or leaning against a wall. And going into a quiet place, feeling the breath, feeling the energy moving through the body, stimulating. You can always rest back on your chair and close your eyes. You can lay down, belly or back on the ground. Or if you're doing a lot of standing, you can even just kind of sit and lean against a wall. You're taking this moment to concentrate deep inside, feeling and communicating, brain and body, sending messages to each other. At this time, you want to really feel the sensations. Notice the pattern and rhythm of breathing. Notice emotions and thoughts, and go into your meditation. Now this practice may take hours or minutes, 15 minutes, half hour, longer. So you can always try this right before you go to sleep or a longer practice. I would encourage you to try this pattern again, going at your own pace and enjoying any part of it that feels good. The hip pressure, the sound on the neck bones, the movement of the elbow and shoulder, and then the movement through the horizontal spine and one leg. My name is Kathryn Roan. Thank you for practicing continuum meditation with me today.